You're not going to provide me any information.
I have not committed a crime. I haven't been suspected of committing a crime.
How do I know this?
Go ahead.
I don't know your name.
Go investigate.
Okay, so do I have to take you into custody then to go get you suspect ID because you're failing to ID yourself to me?
Failure to ID is only when I've been lawfully arrested, sir. I can't be trespassed from public property absent of a crime.
Okay.
You better call a supervisor because this is going out of hand. You're either going to charge me with the crime right now, get a supervisor, or release me.
I wanted to go over this right here, and I want to thank San Joaquin Valley Transparency for bringing it to my attention. This is one of his recent uploads, but this is a guy who works for an organization that's basically a child advocacy group, and apparently prior to this he had been arrested because the Board of Education wanted him kicked off of the public property, which the cops came and they did the bidding of the public officials, and this guy ends up getting arrested. It is an unlawful, unconstitutional, anti-natural rights arrest. But I want to show you how the Pennsylvania State Police right here work tirelessly to try to deprive this guy of his right to be secure in his person when they know, and he knows, and the public officials at the public property know he didn't commit a crime. Listen to how hard they work, almost as though there wasn't a constitution in the United States.
You roll down your window for me? Can you roll down your window for me? Trooper Koch with the Pennsylvania State Police. Can you roll down your window for me?
The audio does get better.
Roll it down a little bit so I can hear you. I can't hear you. Okay. Can I have your license, registration, proof of insurance? You're called in a suspicious vehicle at the school. They are
called in as a suspicious vehicle at the school. That's what you could say that about anybody. Well, somebody somewhere said, I've got this hearsay, and they say that this was a suspicious vehicle at the school. That's open-ended. That's pretty broad. So I'm going to use this as an opportunity to deprive you of your right to be secure in your person.
Concerned about recent issues that have been going on. All right, they witnessed you relocating from different areas. Okay, so they've had issues going on at the school. They realize a car that hasn't been recognized at a school before. Okay, so what they're asking for was a suspicious vehicle. So I was already at the school. Who notified me? As soon as you saw me, you turned around, waited for a little bit, and then drove away. Okay. With that.
So just to be clear, the basis for the stop, the basis for this cop violating this guy's rights and harassing him and interrupting his day is suspicious vehicle at the school. Just so we're clear.
I'm not going to talk to you through the window. Can you open the window for me? I can't hear you. I'm investigating a suspicious vehicle. I can't tell you right now what it is.
Cultural Contrarian. This is, by the way, this is from the YouTube channel. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. This is from the YouTube channel Cultural Contrarian, and he is in the room right now. What I'd like to find out from you is, what exactly do you do? Because as far as am I right in saying that you're part of a child advocacy group? In other words, you go into these public school board meetings and you advocate for children who can't advocate for themselves. In other words, you know how they try to, and I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth or assume that they do something that they may not do, but you know how they create this curriculum in the public school system and then shove this curriculum before the eyes and in front of the faces of these impressionable little kids that have to do with, certain things that you can't talk about on certain platforms that have to do with, gender identity and all this stuff. So you have this vulnerable kid who's away from their parents at a public school with indoctrinated teachers who are cramming clear agenda-driven curriculum down their throats. So the way I see it so far, I'm an advocate for minors who have disabilities. Okay. All right, cool. Because I was assuming that it was along the lines of, stepping in the gap, championing the cause of kids against all this garbage curriculum. But you're an advocate for minors who have disabilities. Okay. So The bottom line to this stop is there's no just reason for it. There's no legitimate reason for it. And if cops who have this qualified immunity, which translates itself as qualified stupidity because they're so stupid to, on body cam video, on dash cam video, violate their own oath of office that they took to protect the rights that they on camera are trying to strip from people. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. It's upside down world.
Are you not going to open the window for me? You're not going to identify yourself to me? It's a suspicious vehicle call. That's what it is. Okay, so I have to determine that there was no crime committed or you're not there to commit any crimes.
Yes, cultural contrarian is the person who's in the driver's side of this vehicle right here. He will be stepping out here to talk to this trooper, this storm trooper.
That's why we're called. So I need you to step out of the vehicle then. That's fine. That's fine. I'm completely cordial with you. I just want to know what's going on. He's going to record me. What's that? Yeah, if you want to call Parker. 15. If you could send another unit, it should be off to Parksburg. He's refusing to give me information.
Thank you for that.
Can you step out for me? 5-10-4. He's going to step out the car. You can turn it off. Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Now watch the posture of this cop. His back is towards somebody who could attack him. These cops aren't as scared as they say. Well, I feared for my life. They're not as scared as they make it out to be. Usually when somebody steps out of their car, hey, you don't mind if I pat you down? You know, do you have anything that'll stick me, jab me, poke me? You know, they go through this whole rigmarole to make sure that officer safety, that primary objective of all traffic stops, officer safety, not your rights, not your safety, officer safety. So this officer is not scared. He doesn't pat down Mr. Miller here.
If you want to step back to the car here, sir. Sure. All right. I'm Trooper Cox with the State Police. Okay. I know you're video recording me. That's fine. You're also being video recorded. It's not a problem. Well within your rights. Super. The reason I'm here, I was at the school for a separate meeting. Sure.
You're well within your rights to record, but you're not well within your rights to make sure that you stay secure from my prying eyes and my desire to find out what your identity is.
All right. There's been other issues going on in reference to school board meetings. Okay.
Am I detained?
I'm literally just having a conversation with you because you are.
It's not consensual. Am I detained or am I free to go?
You're not free to go right now. I'm investigating.
So what am I being detained for?
You were investigation of a suspicious vehicle. Okay.
A suspicious vehicle.
And I located the vehicle that they described to me.
Very good. Very good.
Okay. They had a vehicle. No, just listen to me. No, they had a vehicle on the property.
Please answer my question. Is it a misdemeanor or a felony?
They had a vehicle on their property that was not supposed to be.
It's hard to hear because the audio is so poor on this dash cam. But he said, is suspicion a misdemeanor or a felony? Because, you know, suspicion is your basis for the stop. So I want to know the severity of the, criminal charge and the reason you thought it was a good idea to pull me over on the side of the road, which, by the way, is extremely unsafe. I know this isn't a highway and these cars are going pretty slow, so it's not highway 60, 70, 80 miles an hour speed, but it's still unsafe nonetheless. It's less safe than being in a driveway. It's less safe than being in a parking lot. So now the trooper's life and Mr. Miller's life is put at risk because of, what's the basis for it? Criminal activity? Was it a misdemeanor? Was something stolen? Was somebody harmed? Was there a victim? A real material victim? No, your car matches this description of a suspicious vehicle. Give me a break.
On the property from what they know.
What?
Okay, they've been having
public property. It's a public property.
Okay, I'm not discarding it, but it's after hours and there's nothing else going on. Okay.
Sure. There's a school board meeting tonight.
Okay, there is no school board meeting tonight.
I was not aware of that.
Okay.
I just found that out when I went there.
Now you are.
I was leaving after going there.
Okay.
Communications that I just found out.
Listen, all I'm saying is they contacted me. My job is to investigate any report that is made to the school or to me about suspicious activity.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the vehicle on the school property for a school board meeting is suspicious.
To them, yes. I can't determine whatever.
Very good. That's a shame.
To them.
That's frightening.
Listen, everybody's very safe these days, okay?
Yeah.
They want to make sure the kids are safe at the schools. They want to make sure they know what's going on in the
threat
school.
to you?
I can't determine that. I'm still trying to identify you. I don't know who you are.
Oh, well,
So because I can't...
who I am makes no matter is too.
So because I don't know who I'm talking to, I can't determine whether or not you're a bad guy, a good guy. I don't know. So all I'm trying to do...
What is your assumption at this point? I'm being detained for a consensual conversation at this point. So are your fears of your suspicion eliminated?
No, because I don't know who you are.
Well, what I do...
If I knew who you were, if I knew what your name was, if I knew where you lived, then my suspicions would be completely relieved. How? What if I have no background? You don't know what I've been up to for the last 10 years. How is getting my name and my address and possibly my phone number going to alleviate your suspicions that I'm some kind of criminal? Doesn't even make any sense. There's no logic to any of this. And there doesn't have to be, because when you operate under qualified immunity, you're answerable to no one. You have the protection of the state. You have the protection of the prosecutors. You have the protection of the judges, and everything's pretty much going to go your way if you're the cop. That's why we need to end qualified immunity. That's why we need to end Terry v. Ohio and all these court cases that give the police the power to do the things that they do without any repercussions.
If I knew who you are, I could go from there.
What is my name going to provide for you?
Excellent
Who I'm
question.
talking to. It's a professional conversation. How can I address you?
It's
What would you
not
like
a consensual conversation. You have detained me.
What would you like me to call you?
I want you to tell me what I'm being detained for. You've identified that it's
Because
a
you were
suspicious vehicle. So
correct. So I made contact with the vehicle, right?
Am I
and my duty
being
is
detained?
to... No, not yet. I'm still investigating, okay?
So go ahead, investigate.
So
I'm going to remain silent.
You're not going to provide me any information?
I have not committed a crime. I haven't been suspected of committing a crime.
How do I know this?
Go ahead.
I don't know your name.
Go investigate.
Okay, so you're Mr. Miller, correct?
Go investigate.
Are you Mr. Miller?
Go investigate.
John Ryan Miller?
Go investigate.
John Ryan Miller.
Go investigate.
Out of Kimberton.
Go investigate.
So he already knows who Mr. Miller is, and he knows where he's from, but he continues to ply him for an ID.
Investigate.
Is that all we're going to...
Doesn't have to make sense. When it's law enforcement, it doesn't have to. Matter of fact, the less sense it makes, the more likely it is to emanate from law enforcement.
say? So do I have to take you into custody then to go get you suspect ID because you're failing to ID yourself to me?
Failure to ID is only when I've been lawfully arrested, sir.
No. We're investigating.
You, Mr. John Miller, are failing to, from wherever he said he was, are failing to ID. You've already ID'd me. You've already identified who I am. You just called me by my name.
Investigating a crime.
Go investigate the crime.
Okay.
What's the crime?
You're on school property right now, right? It could constitute as trespassing. This is what we're trying to figure out.
Trespassing
Have
on
you been
public
told?
property?
Have you been told not to be on the property before? I don't know that.
I can't be trespassed from public property absent of a crime.
Okay.
You better call a supervisor because this is going out of hand.
Look,
You've detained me unlawfully now.
That is key. You cannot be trespassed from public property absent a crime. There has to be some crime involved for you to initiate a trespass. Otherwise, it's discrimination. Oh, I'm going to tell that guy he needs to leave because of the color of his skin. I'm going to tell that woman that she needs to leave because of her gender. I don't like the color of that guy's shirt. Where does it stop? You can't just trespass somebody off of public property unless they've done some kind of harm to somebody. That means committing a crime. Because if there is no victim, there is no crime. Did you harm somebody on public property? Did you threaten to harm them? Are you making people feel uncomfortable by getting in their space? Are you damaging their property? Those are crimes, real crimes that produce real victims that gives you a real reason to trespass somebody off of property, the public property.
You're going to detain me unlawfully for about 6 minutes at this point. So you're either going to charge me with the crime right now, get a supervisor, or release me.
So because I'm being professional with you.
You're not being professional. You unlawfully detained me. You have unlawfully detained me. Am I free to go?
You are not right now. I'm still investigating a suspicious vehicle.
This is an investigative detention?
Correct.
What is the crime?
So until I...
Like professionalism gives them an out for the criminal activity they're trying to foist on people. It'd be like a real pleasant acting car thief, a carjacker. Hey, I'm being told, and somebody objecting to, hey, you're stealing my car. Hey, I'm being super professional with you, man. I'm being super professional. Or somebody's stealing your tires, but they're doing it in a real pleasant, joking way. Hey, you're taking the tires up, but I'm being polite with you. I'm being super. It doesn't matter if you're being polite. I don't care about professionalism. You're committing criminal activity against me. You're victimizing me right now. I don't care how professional you are, officer. You're interrupting my day for absolutely no reason at all. You're treating me like somebody who doesn't have any rights. Professionalism. Get the frick out of here with that.
What is the crime, sir?
Possible trespassing.
Possible trespass from
There's
a public
also
property?
other things going on.
From a public property. I've been trespassed from a public property is your
I
accusation?
do not know. That's why I have to identify you.
How do you get trespassed from a public property, sir?
Because they don't want you on the property of the school.
No,
if the school says you can't come to the school, you are not allowed on that property anymore.
So do you want to call
I don't know who you...
Do you want to call the district attorney and understand what the law is for trespass? Do you want to call the district attorney right now?
No.
You don't know because you're improperly representing trespass law.
No, I'm not. If you've been told by a building or a property or a facility that you cannot be on property anymore, aka school grounds, if you're told you cannot be on...
Is that not public property?
If you... Listen to me.
No, you answer my question.
It is public property. However...
How can I be trespassed from public property absent...
Because it's school, it's the school property, okay?
It's public property, sir.
Okay. But you're not going to ID yourself to me? So, are you...
That's another thing cops do not understand. They do not understand the major difference between public and private property. If you're a private individual who owns private property, you can tell anybody you want to for any reason to leave. But if it's public property, you can't do that. You start you're going to have a civil rights discrimination lawsuit against you so fast it'll make your head spin.
Are you John Ryan? Are you John Ryan?
Stay on the subject. That's public property.
Are you John Ryan
So you're
Miller?
attempting to say that I've been trespassed from public property absent of committing a crime?
I am investigating a call of a suspicious vehicle. They are concerned about statements that have been made.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Not saying they're by you.
What statements? I have no idea what you're talking about.
I do not know either. That is why I'm talking to you. I'm not disrespecting
This is not consensual, sir. I'm done talking. Go do what you need to do.
Okay, you stand right here. Okay.
I suggest you call the district attorney regarding trespass on public property.
If the school doesn't want you on the property, they can tell you not to. Sir, I've done trespassing several times, just like Acme.
Yeah, it's not Acme. Acme is private property, sir. That's public property.
But if you're on school grounds, you can be banned from school grounds.
You can't be trespassed from public property.
You can be banned from school grounds.
Absent of committing a crime that would be unlawful. Just go call the district
I'm just not
attorney.
sure.
I'm just saying.
All I've been has been.
Can you imagine how much all the building blocks of society, legalized society, would completely unravel if people just started going, yeah, you can't appear on public property. We don't want you on public property. You can't be on public property. No reason at all. We just don't want you on public property. Your hair's too long. Your hair's too short. Maybe you're too overweight. Maybe you're too skinny. Maybe they only want a certain amount of females on public property at the same time and a certain amount of males. Can you imagine people starting to do that?
A false statement about trespass law.
I'm not.
Are you revoking my license from public property? Is that what you're doing?
That is not.
I have an implied license to be on the public property.
You do?
There's an implied license for you to come onto my property. The only time that license is revoked is when I revoke it.
I get that. But if the district has banned you from the property...
No, they haven't. You can't ban someone from public property absent of a crime.
That's what I'm investigating.
Go investigate.
So,
what crime have I committed? I can't
all I'm trying to do is be respectful to you, right?
But you're lying to me, officer.
I am not lying to you. I'm not
misrepresenting the laws.
Hey, he's respectfully lying, okay?
Sir,
how have I lied to you at all? Please, tell me.
You're saying that I am potentially having trespass from public property.
You may have been.
You're misrepresenting trespass law.
Okay.
I'm informing you that you're misrepresenting trespass law. I'm giving you every opportunity to check with the district attorney what the law is for trespass on public property.
Okay.
You haven't done that.
If the district has banned you from the buildings and the facilities and the property...
There's no if. You can't ban a public person from public property.
That's fine. But I'm still investigating what they have to say. I'm just coming to you on what I've said.
DA.
Okay.
I know what you're doing. You're just following orders.
Thank you. So why are you making it difficult for me?
I don't have to make it easy for you.
I'm fair. I agree with you.
Thank you. Why you make the guy who's causing difficulty in the life of Mr. Miller is saying, why are you causing me difficulty? I didn't come up to you. I didn't pull you over. I didn't invade your space. I didn't lie to your face. You're the one who's doing all that stuff to me, and you're saying, why am I making it difficult for you? You've got to be kidding me. You're the one who doesn't understand your own laws you're trying to enforce. What the heck are you enforcing? You're just way out on a limb here, officer. Way out on a limb.
citizen.
Fair.
I'm a
That's a very
law-abiding
good
citizen.
statement. I like that. You don't have to make it easy for me. You're right. You're very right.
And I'm not.
And can we just take a moment right now to just comment on how stupid these hats look? I mean, what is with this chin strap? Start goose. Just do the German goose step while you're at it. Jackboot.
Being disrespectful,
But like
being
a simple thing is
being
asking for your ID.
Yeah,
So we're going to go through the whole.
surrender my Fourth Amendment right under threat of duress.
6308. You're in investigation, right? So
Not a lawful investigation. Not
to
a
me, it is because a suspicious vehicle is.
Good try. Good
It
try.
is. It's a lawful investigation.
You have unlawfully pulled me over.
I have
didn't
not.
break
You are a
any
suspicious vehicle in a lot that they're not familiar
Terry
who you
v.
are.
Ohio. Suspicion. What is your probable cause that I have committed crime that or supports your suspicion?
We
Just real quick, that's why just a little modification, a little correction on what he said here, because Terry v. Ohio really doesn't have anything to do with probable cause. The probable cause standard is the more weighty standard. They created Terry v. Ohio in 1968 for reasonable articulable suspicion, which is a lesser standard. Reasonable articulable suspicion, think about it, and then probable cause, and then it's supposed to be supported by an oath or affirmation. So you got probable cause where it's like you've got to prove why, you got to give a just cause for why you pulled this person over. Under Terry v. Ohio, I suspect you may be committing a crime, or I suspect you may be somebody who's posing a great danger to officer safety. Because when you boil it all down and you read the case law of Terry v. Ohio, it's literally this: officer safety trumps individual rights, which means you don't get to enjoy some probable cause investigation.
Answer my question. Don't go up.
We have gotten the call that you were a suspicious vehicle.
Absolutely.
So I,
What's your
as a
probable
state
cause at
trooper
this point?
or a local officer or anybody, investigates that. Once we locate you, I stopped you.
Sure, you shot me.
No, I get it. I wasn't. Cultural Contrarian says, I was attempting to get him to admit this was acting under Terry v. Ohio, or admit that he unlawfully stopped. Yeah. See, to me, a Terry stop is an unlawful, unconstitutional stop. Not to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is, you can do Terry v. Ohio and it doesn't violate constitutional rights. That's BS. There's so much that the Supreme Court has laid down as far as case law that is contrary to the clear doctrine of the right to be secure in your person's houses, papers, and effects. One of them is Marbury versus Madison from 1803, where part of the piece of that people like to quote is any law that is repugnant to the Constitution is null and void. Well, Marbury versus Madison actually laid down the law of judicial review, which means you can't just go by the Constitution. You have to go by the interpretation of the Constitution as written by the Supreme Court justices. So they made themselves supreme. The Supreme Court made themselves supreme over the Constitution in Marbury versus Madison. So even though it's approved by the Supreme Court, it's Terry v. Ohio and Pennsylvania versus Mims and all these other court cases where they're approved by the Supreme Court are direct violations and a direct assault on our freedoms and a violation of the Constitution. But like Lysander Spooner said, whether the Constitution be one thing or the other, this much is certain: it's either authorized such a tyrannical government as we have, or it's been unfit or unable to stop it. In either case, it's unfit to exist.
Right, because we're investigating the suspicious
and I
vehicle.
got out of my car.
And I appreciate that. And I've never
I'm kind in having this conversation that is not consensual because you detained me.
You're an investigative detention, investigatory detention.
So
yes.
I am not going to do anything else.
Okay.
You have no probable cause.
Okay.
You cannot file an affidavit of probable cause to detain me any further. We have got
It's until my investigation is over.
Oh, go ahead. Continue your investigation.
Okay. So that's that's a subject to the investigation.
Go ahead.
Investigatory detention can last longer.
Go ahead.
If I deem it necessary, that needs to last longer.
I'm just saying, I'm no threat to you, sir.
I'm not saying you are, and I've been nothing but respectful to you.
You have.
So thank you. So
yeah, I've got no issue.
So, Mr. Miller, why is it so we can?
But officer, respectful tyranny is still tyranny. Professional tyranny is still tyranny, and polite tyranny, as polite as it is, it's still tyranny.
Can't get your information.
You are under. What will happen if I don't give you my information. Let's do it that way.
Good question.
What will happen?
Yeah.
Are you Mr. Miller or not?
No,
So do I have to bring you back to suspect ID to just confirm who you are?
You're going to detain me and kidnap me from my...
I'm not kidnapping you.
Exactly.
Are you going to move me from this property?
As of now, not right now, not yet.
If you remove me from this property, it's false imprisonment and you're kidnapping me under suspicion in an attempt to ID me.
Okay.
Absent of any reason.
Are you or are you not Mr. Miller?
That a crime that has occurred or a crime is about
I'm making
to
this
occur.
very easy for you. Are you Mr. Miller?
I'm not going to answer your questions. I have no duty to answer your questions.
Just hang tight.
Sure.
Mr. Miller is engaging in some serious, masterful verbal judo, and this cop doesn't have a prayer. Well, maybe that's all he has is a prayer.
He's not. Very well, sir. Have a nice day.
Can I get your guy's name, please? I'm sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, Trooper Kopska, that's fine.
Cop's going back to his cop car like, man, I'm not used to these kind of encounters where actually people are actually pushing back, challenging me on case law. Doggone it.
Kopska,
Yeah.
I sent you an email.
Yes, and I forwarded all your right to know requests
Very,
up to
very good.
to-
And you are?
Sergeant Murtaugh.
Sergeant Murtaugh. Very good. And you are?
Officer Yancey.
Very good. So,
This is all I'm trying to say
I
is
understand what you're trying to do, and
I'm not trying to do anything. I'm trying to do my job.
I get
Okay?
that.
And I
I'm
hope
trying
you would
to be a
respect
free-
that.
Sure.
You are free, and that's great.
I'm a free citizen.
But there's other things that the escalation process of this whole thing doesn't have to ever happen.
Yeah, but I don't have to surrender to your interrogation.
Okay.
This was an unlawful detainment, so
It was not. It was part of an investigation.
You can try to rationalize that any way you choose, sir. You really can. I don't know how you're going to do that, but you're going to do what you're going to do.
It was not.
And everything that I've communicated with you has been respectful, professional.
Likewise.
Yeah, I'm not disputing that.
Thank you.
But you stepped over lines because you put on these. What are those called?
Those are
Mr. Miller in the comment section says that this cop got served a summons as a present. Gloria says, I can't hear the conversation. I'm sorry, this dash cam audio, it's not good. It's poor quality.
emergency lights.
Emergency lights. And the emergency was a suspicious vehicle.
Yes, so call for service hours to come to.
Very good. So I'm just going to say everything that I've been doing in trying to protect the children at this school to attempt to be converted into a crime, which is what just happened. You tried to convert my law-abiding activities on public property into a crime.
Okay,
You did
so
it 3 times.
So you've been the one sending the messages?
I didn't say that. I said
You sent me the emails
I
that you
sent
sent.
you an email.
Same emails you sent to the district
Well, no,
attorney.
actually, that wasn't me
Okay.
who sent that email.
So this cop is admitting he knows way more than he let on. He knew Mr. Miller's ID. He knew where he came from. Now he knows about emails. See, that is the deception of law enforcement. That's why you can never trust a cop. They already come with a preloaded mind. You're already guilty in their eyes. They're not there to try to prove your innocence. They're there to build a case against you to put the ironclad lock on your guilt. It's despicable.
Okay, that's fine.
There's been professional
This
communication.
is what I'm saying. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
We have a job to do. Our duty is, as well as yours,
Within
listen,
the lane.
as well as yours,
This is unlawful. This is
as well as yours is to keep the kids safe, right? We have the same goal in hand.
You didn't keep me safe. You pulled me out of my.
I want to hear that story. Mr. Miller. He says there's much more to this story, which I invite you to review. It's powerful. I definitely want to hear more about it.
pulled me out of my car.
You're not safe right now? Did I ever handcuff you?
Hey, can you, Mr. Miller, can you, on your Cultural Contrarian channel, can you create a video just kind of breaking down, maybe in an 8-minute, 9-minute, 10-minute video of the rest of this story? Because I really want to hear it, and I think the audience would want to hear it too.
Did I knock on your window?
Do you not have 2 implements to cause me harm and death? And do you have the legal protections to do that against me?
Do you understand that that's the last goal that we ever want to do?
Yeah, but do you have the latitude to do it? When
What
there's a
means?
contempt of authority, which all law enforcement have that. So
I think we've all been very
you
respectful.
have. You have. I'm not discounting that you haven't.
And like I said to you, they were concerned because of messages. Now what you're saying, you sent.
Whatever. No. What I said.
Yes, whatever. You sent them. It is
I
what it
sent
is.
to you.
And you sent. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, okay? It is.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Is there an attempt to criminalize the communication that was sent to you?
There was no.
Is that attempt? Is there an attempt?
No. In reference to right to know stuff?
Yeah.
No. Not on my end at all.
No?
No. There's nothing.
Because there was never a response from you.
So we send it up to the right to know
There
office.
was never a response.
It's not supposed to be from me. It's
I
supposed to
have 5 days to be responded to, and you didn't respond within
the
5
right to
days.
know office did not let you know in 5 days. We sent it up.
That's not up to
You'll get
them.
it in your right to know request. You'll see that. We sent it up.
But if the 5 days is
So,
lapsed,
okay.
so you
At
need
the end of the
to
day,
comply with the right to know law.
like I said, like Sergeant Martel said, you're good to go. Okay?
All right, sir. Have a nice day.
Just, all right?
Cool. Let me ask a question, Sergeant Murtaugh.
So we're going to have to stop. I mean, we're not here doing
I'll tell you this, the Pennsylvania troopers need better audio equiment.
any more further official police business. I'm not being disrespectful to you, but you can see
There's traffic and everything.
so we're going to move it on.
Are you suggesting that I am trespassing the school? I just want to be clear on that.
I have not said that. All I said was we were investigating. Good.
Sir, frankly, we're not clear on it. I can appreciate your point on that.
Yes.
Whatever you're trying to do, the troopers advise you. When dispatch the call, we don't get to select those.
That's all I'm
Just
saying.
ask me to verify the trespass law because you are incorrectly representing.
So if the district says that you're no longer allowed on the properties, that's
I would need to have
documentation from them.
I would need the probable cause of the crime, the criminal
Okay.
act of trespassing.
This is why we were trying to ID you, because I don't know if that has happened. That's all I've been saying.
I need to know what crime I have been accused of
Okay.
or about to be trespassed from public
Again,
property.
that's the school. If the school decides, but you're good to go. Thank you, Mr. Miller.
All right, that's the end of this interaction. Now, Jefferson said, those who desire to be ignorant and free desire what never was and what never shall be. This is not an ignorant man. But I bet 95, 98, maybe even 99% of the time when a cop interacts with a member of the public, they capitalize on the ignorance of that member of the public. Now, the general rule is don't talk to cops unless you know how to talk to them. Don't answer their questions, but ask them questions. What is the nature of your stop? Is suspicion a crime? Is it a felony or a misdemeanor? There are so many things that Mr. Miller did right here that I don't condemn anybody for talking to the cops if you know how to do it. But generally speaking, most people don't know how to do it, and they should be quiet and not talk to the cops. It's one of the worst things that you can do. Even if you say truthful stuff, if you ever let your guard down around a cop because you think, hey, I got nothing to hide, I'll just go ahead and spill the beans. Nope. They will use the truth that you just spoke against you, and they'll missay what you've said, and they'll write false reports. If you don't say anything, they can't write anything in the report. Well, they could. They can still make it up, but it's way better for you if they've got no video camera evidence of you having said anything. But if you know how to exert your rights, knowledge is power, and you are a powerful human being that is difficult to assail if you can know your rights, articulate your rights, and just stand on your rights. Because if we don't flex our rights, we will definitely, it's just like a muscle. You stop using your muscles, they will atrophy and you will become weaker. Bone density will lessen. Your life is going to be a little bit more difficult because you're a little less strong. You're weaker than you would have been. The urge to save humanity is almost always a false front for the urge to rule. And these cops want to rule you. They want to control you. But if they find that you're not controllable, well, they kind of tend to back down. Now, sometimes it backfires because the cop gets so intimidated and his ego is so big, he's got to, use the violence of the state. That, as Mr. Miller pointed out, is afforded to them to apply at their discretion, and they do it, and people do get hurt. So I've not released my video of that encounter in public. It's my evidence. All right, cool. Tell you what, contact at highimpactflix.com, Cultural Contrarian. I left Cultural Contrarian's link in the chat. When this goes live or wherever it goes, I'll make sure that I put Cultural Contrarian's link in the description or the pinned comment. A lot of times when I put a pinned comment on my YouTube channel, they take it away and I got to put it back on and they take it away again. So, and I think it has to do with leaving a link in the pinned comment that they don't like, but I'm not sure. It's hit or miss with that platform. But guys, leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comment section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe or follow here on Facebook. This is a Facebook Live. I'm sure this is going to go up on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. If you want to email me directly, it's contact@highimpactflix.com. That's contact@highimpactflix.com. If you want to support the channel, the links are in the description. But remember, freedom is dangerous. It's always going to be dangerous. It's going to be unpredictable. It's going to make people feel uncomfortable. But you know what's more dangerous? You know what's more unpredictable? You know what's going to be more uncomfortable is not having freedom. So you got to fight for it. If you don't, you're going to lose it. I personally think Mr. Miller fought for it and he did a good job. I'll see you in the next video.